if he is not calling you, it's because you are not on his mind. If he creates expectations for you and then doesn't follow through on little things, he will do same for big things. Be aware of this and realize that he is okay with disappointing you. Don't be with someone who doesn't do what he say they are going to do. If he's choosing not to make a simple effort that will put you at ease and bring harmony to a recurring fight, then he doesn't respect your feelings and needs. Busy is another word for an irresponsible man, and an irresponsible man is another word for the guy you are dating. You deserve a phone call. This is Bliss Talk on the Backstage Story show on Nollywood Radio France. It's another moment to rekindle the fire of your marital bliss. And I welcome you again to Bliss Talk on the Backstage Story show on Nollywood Radio France. Don't go anywhere. I'll be right back after this music break. Make your marriage work. Make your marriage fun. Make your marriage exciting. Enjoy endless marital bliss. Let us help you rekindle the fire of love. Join me and Tonia Smart on Bliss Talk as we explore the secrets to endless marital bliss on Bliss Talk on the Backstage Story show on your award-winning media channel Nollywood Radio France on Nollywood Broadcasting Service. Bliss Talk, reigniting the flame of love. Dating is a part of human mating process whereby two people meet socially for companionship beyond the level of friendship or with the aim of each assessing the other's suitability as a partner in an intimate relationship or marriage. It can be a form of courtship consisting of social activities done by the couple. While the term has several meanings, it usually refers to the act of meeting and engaging in some mutually agreed upon social activity in public, together, or as a couple. The protocols and practices of dating and the terms used to describe it vary considerably from country to country and over time. The most common idea is two people trying out a relationship and exploring whether they are compatible by going out together in public as a couple who may or may not yet be having sexual relations. This period of courtship is sometimes seen as a precursor to engagement or marriage. And with that, I welcome you again to Bliss Talk on Backstage Story, show on Nollywood Radio France. Welcome, and you are still tuned in. And as usual, I have my guest, Dr. Mrs. Tonia Smart. And in the previous episode, she expounded on her resume, and she's got a splendid resume, and she's also a confidant that you can actually call and talk with. And today on Bliss Talk, we'll be talking about the dating game and choice of a partner. A lot of people date. Some people refer to dating as something else. Some people call it courtship. Some people we're going to be talking deeply about what dating is and how do you date and choose the right partner. Tonia, it's nice to have you on the show again.
Thank you very much. It's nice to be back here today again. Thank you.
Now, on this show, we're going to be talking dating. What is dating?
Well, dating is boy meets girl. That is in the simplest way I can put it.
Boy meets girl.
That's right.
And they either want to keep the relationship.
Yes.
It's
the first point of a relationship.
Okay.
You first need to meet the person before you can even say a relationship is going to start. So the first meeting, you first of all need to meet before a relationship can be built. So the first contact or several contacts that you would have after the first meeting is dating, because then you're getting to know each other. Is until you're sure that this person is right, then you can say, I want to be in courtship, which means I want more of this relationship. I want this relationship to go a step further.
All right, dating. Now, there's this school of thought that believes that the religious institution is not doing enough. Okay, there's a dogma in churches about dating. In some churches, male congregations sit separately, the female sits separately. how do they get to meet? When the church is really causing a separation, they don't want them to meet. What is your take about religious institutions' stand on dating?
For some religions, they say dating is not right, and they have their own reasons, and some of it I can understand. Because first, you're in a public place, and so you need to sit separate because you don't know whether the lady you're sitting next to happens to be somebody else's wife. Because again, not everybody puts on a marital band to show that they are married. So what they're just trying to do is more of norms and conveniences rather than saying it's a dating thing that they are not subscribing to.
True. Okay.
So because even the Bible says, can two walk together except they be agreed? So if you're not in agreement with somebody, and the agreement is not just a verbal one, the agreement is what is in your chemistry, what makes you tick, that I see, that I want to say, yes, I want to spend the rest of my life with you.
Mm-hmm. Right.
All of that needs to, be put together.
Okay. Now, as a marriage counselor, and from your experience and learning as a counselor, what age would you say is the proper age for a boy and a girl to start dating?
Well, basically, there is no proper age. What I just say, at least you must be above the legal age, which is 18. Because you see some ladies at 19, 20, they are more mature than their counterparts who are 25, 30. And you can see a young guy who is in his 20s and is more mature than even a 40-year-old man. So first is your maturity, your ability to be able to handle yourself, and then you'll be able to settle down with another person, because they're two different things. Yes, you can handle yourself, but when you need to settle down with another person, then the issue of compromise, give and take, and all of that needs to come into play, and you need to understand them very well.
All right. Now, with the advent of information technology and a lot of these social media tools, 13 is the teenage age start period. And a lot of these young folks have access to the internet, they have access to iPads, to even the smallest phone right now has access to some of the social media. Would you say at 13, a boy or a girl is ready for exploring the chemistry between both of them?
I would say no. And at the same time, I would say yes.
Okay.
No, you're not ready for dating or courtship. But yes, because at that age, they're coming into puberty. And that's why knowledge is very key. Because then the girl is getting matured, and talking of the biology now, and, having female hormones. And the man too is getting, or the young boy is getting matured, getting a deep voice, is growing a beard on his face. And so all those emotion, all those hormones bring about emotions that need to be correctly channeled. And that's why it's good that focus is placed on teenagers, because one, at that teenage age, they're looking for more of belongingness. I want to belong. I want to be seen as being part of the happening thing. So you must be able to channel that energy, that emotion into something that is constructive and positive, rather than the trial and error that we see youths, teenagers getting pregnant. You talk of teenage pregnancy and all of that, because there is nobody channeling the emotion correctly, giving them knowledge to know what is actually happening in their bodies. In those days in school, we used to have a class that was social studies, and then you do a bit of socializing and knowing what fits you best. But I don't think there's much knowledge being given. And again, coupled with the fact that most women are working now, so there is a gap in knowledge for growing children. And if that gap is not filled, that's why they get themselves entangled into all of these relationships, because they want to feel loved, which is very, very key. It's very key.
Yes, don't go anywhere. This is still Bliss Talk on the Backstage Story show on Nollywood Radio France. And Bliss Talk has been, we've been expounding on issues concerning dating today, and we'll still be talking more. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. For authentic, verified news and information, for all-round entertainment, exclusive interviews and dramas, for a rich multilingual radio broadcast in English, French and Yoruba, local and global coverage of your events for diaspora audience.
www.nollywoodbroadcastingservice.com.
Cyprian Joseph takes you on a fun-filled adventure on the Cyprian Joseph Show.
www.nollywoodbroadcastingservice.com. Rebecca Moyer takes you on a trip of gist and gossip on the Nollywood Spotlight Show.
www.nollywoodbroadcastingservice.com. Nature's Elixir explores natural remedies to all ailments with Toyin Arifayon.
The Backstage Story show with Demola Soyalu is packed with fun and excitement.
Also join Margaret Olufunke Aderinyoye on Yoruba Dunso, the Yoruba segment of Nollywood Broadcasting Service.
It doesn't end there. The building stays is in its eating. Mobile friendly. Takes us with you anywhere.
Yes, mobile friendly on Androids, tabs, PCs, and other mobile devices. Simply connect from any corner of the globe on www.nollywoodbroadcastingservice.com.
Entertaining you is our main objective, and we are committed to doing just that.
www.nollywoodbroadcastingservice.com. All round Nollywood, round the world. Make your marriage work. Make your marriage fun. Make your marriage exciting. Enjoy endless marital bliss. Let us help you rekindle the fire of love. Join me and Tonia Smart on Bliss Talk as we explore the secrets to endless marital bliss on Bliss Talk on the Backstage Story show on your award-winning media channel, Nollywood Radio France, on Nollywood Broadcasting Service. Bliss Talk, reigniting the flame of love. This is still Bliss Talk, and I have with me, and she has been with me, Dr. Mrs. Tonia Smart. She's a professional. She's a learned chemist. She's also a learned marriage counselor and a consultant, and she's a good confidant. So you can actually call her and ask deep questions, and she will answer your questions and be a good confidant to you. Now, churches or religious institutions, there are some religious institutions that have been labeled black. Why? Because they tend to gather teenagers and educate them on the vices or the pros and cons of dating. And a lot of religious institutions don't seem to be performing this role properly. They're shying away from being labeled as promoting sexual vices. What approach do you think religious institutions should adopt to be able to educate the younger folks about sex and dating, particularly dating that we're talking about now?
Well, first, the church needs to groom its own marriage counseling team.
Okay.
Because like I said, if the knowledge gap is missing and there is no provision for correct knowledge, then what is going to be applied is what I'm told, or trial and error, which is what we see that results into teenage pregnancies. There is absolutely nothing wrong in educating a child correctly, whether a male child or female child, because if you fail to educate them, they would get the information. And like you said earlier, there is so much out there on the internet, on your phone, on your iPad, so they can read, and they're very inquisitive. The children now are so inquisitive that you'll be amazed at what they know that you think they don't know. So it's actually a deceit in itself. So it's best to have people who are skilled in providing the information correctly at the level that they can understand and they can appreciate, so that they have that background that is solid, and that is what they will take into their advanced years.
Okay. All right. Now let's talk about the rules of dating. What are the key rules? If you are going to advise the young folks, or if I want to advise my daughter or my son to go into dating, what are the key rules I need to put in place? Or what are the key rules that young folks need to understand about dating? What are the key rules?
Well, the first is that you're not in a private place alone.
Okay.
Because that also comes with its own issues as well. So yes, you can go for a lunch break, or you can have an outing with friends, or you can go to the beach, or you can go and watch a cinema, watch a film. So for me, the first thing I would say is avoid being alone together in a quiet place. Yes.
Okay. What other rules do you think do you have? Apart from being in a quiet place, is there any other thing?
I think that's just the basic rule, because like I said, the dating is for you to get to know one another. So you'll be able to ask questions, find out what each person likes, what your other person likes, what they don't like, because it's important you need to know what they like and what they don't like, and how the chemistry flows between the two of you, because the chemist will tell you for every action there is a reaction. So you need to know whether the reaction for each time would be something that you can handle and all of that. And like the Boy Scouts will say, you need to be prepared. And that's why the dating precedes the courtship.
Okay.
Because the dating is actually to prepare you to learn about one another, look at the ropes and see whether you can actually start from the finishing and take it right through to the end.
Okay. Now, chemistry. When you talk of chemistry, during the teenage years, puberty stage sets in and a lot of reactions is going on in the body.
That's right.
Now, a guy meets a girl and they want to explore. There is a temptation, and there is a high temptation that comes. They don't want to be... usually there is a high temptation of trying to stay away from people or stay in a private place. And a lot of people say the risk of this is unwanted pregnancy.
That's right.
What do you have to say about this major risk in dating, and what other risks are involved during dating?
Well, basically, you want to be sure that the person you're dating is straightforward and honest. And so, again, like I said, avoid places that are enclosed and it's just the two of you. If you must be alone, it should not be in a place that is too private.
Okay.
So, yes, you can be in a sitting room, but it should be an open sitting room so anybody can walk in, and not being in a house where it's just the two of you alone. Okay. Because then the tendency is that your mind begins to play tricks on you. That, yes, you want to explore this and you want to explore that. Yes.
All right. Now, some school of thought believe that dating is not necessarily, and we accede to this. We get this. We induce this from the fact that some people get married without knowing each other, and they have that marital bliss. But it's usually 1 out of 100, But a lot of people get married and they don't do dating. Is dating really necessary? And if it is necessary, what's the role of parents in controlling who their child dates?
In the olden days, there was nothing like dating. The family just decides that, well, our son is old enough to get married, and my friend has a daughter, and so we want to cement the relationship. So
continuity.
So they arrange the marriage and say, well, this is now your wife, and whether she likes it or not, she has to stay,
comply,
with that man, and spend the rest of her life, if possible, with him. And so for me, dating is very, very key, because we would have saved ourselves the pain, the ache, the trauma of divorce, and the stigma and the vices that comes with divorce. Because dating, if it's done correctly, if it's applied correctly, if the do's and don'ts are adhered to, then there'll be less of trial marriages. Because the trial marriages I see today, and all the civil partnerships, are extension of datings and courtship putting together, coined as a relationship and saying, well, we're married or we're cohabiting and all of that. Why? Because the gap of the knowledge to be provided is not there. And that's why you're now seeing marriage counselors coming up to speak out. Before, you would not see a marriage counselor. You probably just hear there is a marriage counselor somewhere, but they're not as effective as they should be. And with what we're seeing now, if it continues in that trend, most people will not want to get married. And marriage is honorable. And it's something that should be desired by every man and every woman.
All right. Now, the role of parents. Should parents decide who their child marry? Some parents will say, oh, he's too tall. Oh, he has a tattoo and all that. What is the role of parents in dating?
The role of parents should be one that is advisory, and it should not be something that should be enforced.
Okay.
As parents, because they can sit back and with hindsight and knowledge gained over the years, they are able to see a few things that you may not be able to see in that other person. And so for me, it should be an advisory role of letting them know these are my thoughts, but not to say, oh, you have to marry this particular type of person or you need to marry that particular type of person. If they find anything that is fundamental, then they need to bring it, to bear, because at the stage of love, you are blind. And that's why they say love is blind.
Okay, so you believe love is blind?
Yes, but I stick to the school that love is blind, but you need to open your eyes. Otherwise, you're going to be like the three blind mice. And then you end up in the deep.
Joke Silva, an actress and producer. I am on the Backstage Story show with Demola on Nollywood Radio France.
Hello fans, it's your girl Mahida. My real name's Caroline Sam. What's up? I'm on the Backstage show with Demola on Nollywood Radio France.
I am Zach Oji, an actor, filmmaker, and media consultant from Nigeria. And I'm on the Backstage Story show with Demola on Nollywood Radio France.
Olu Jacobs. I am on the Backstage Story show with Demola on Nollywood Radio France.
My name is Yinka Lawansin, aka Lamborghini, and aka Mr. Loverman. And right now I am live at the Backstage Story show with Demola on the Nollywood Radio France.
My name is Tunde Kelani TK. Right now I'm on the Backstage Story show with Demola on Nollywood Radio France.
I'm a makeup artist and a unique beat maker. I'm on Backstage Story show with Demola Sonyaolu on Nollywood Radio France.
I am Tonia Harifayon, also known as Arifik. I'm on the Backstage Story show with Demola on Nollywood Radio France.
Atugbe tutunwolu Atugbede. Yo, it's your boy live in the building, SOJ. Here with Demola on Backstage Story show on Nollywood Radio France.
My name is Temitayo Adeneye, also known as Shakira. I'm on the Backstage Story show with Demola on Nollywood Radio France.
My name is Remy Adebayo Shitami. I'm live with Backstage with Demola on Nollywood Radio France.
Hey, this is your homeboy Osh Michael, Mr. R&B. I'm hanging around with Demola on Backstage show on Nollywood Radio France.
I am Toyin Arifanyon.
And I am Demola Sonyaolu. Join us on every exciting episode of Nolly Parrot on the Backstage Story show on your favorite channel, Nollywood Radio France on Nollywood Broadcasting Service.
It promises to be informative, educative, exciting, and adventurous as we give you top stories in Nigeria's tabloids and magazines.
Every episode of Nolly Parrot is filled with fresh, crunchy news for listening audience all over the world. Visit www.nollywoodbroadcasting.com and enjoy the richly unique flavor of Nolly Parrot and other interesting programs.
Nollywood Broadcasting, all around Nollywood, all around the world.
All right, this is still Bliss Talk on the Backstage Story show on Nollywood Radio France, and it's been an exciting moment with Dr. Mrs. Tonia Smart. We've been expounding on the issues pertaining to dating and how to choose a partner. Now, I still want to talk about parenthood, the parents' role in dating, and then the choice of partner. Some parents, once they look at the outward appearance and judge a spouse or a friend or a dating partner based on that appearance, and they tell no, I don't want this person in my house again. Don't bring this person into my house again. And then some parents won't even allow their children to bring their friends home. What do you have to say about this?
Well, first, it's wrong for a parent not to allow you to bring your friends home, because if they don't bring their friends home, then you're not going to know the kind of company they keep. And the adage says that birds of the same feathers flock together. And secondly, it's not about appearances, because appearances can be deceptive. And so look at the person, the inner being, the inner man, and then you'll be able to know if this is a good person. Because you might see somebody who is so well dressed and who doesn't have character. And it's clear that says all that glitters is not gold. So don't look at the outward appearance, but look at what are the innate qualities of that person that your daughter or your son finds interesting, that, you know, they want to start dating with that person. Okay. And so that brings me to say that attraction at the initial stage of dating should not be something that, you know, would carry on for long, because most of the time people say, oh, I'm attracted to you. Yes, are you attracted? And you might decide to date the person, but the attraction might burn out. And that's why it's not all dating that ends up in courtship to marriage. Okay. So dating, you get to know one another, what you like, what you don't like, and then, you know, if you are compatible, then it goes to the next stage.
All right. You mentioned something about innate characteristics, looking inwards. What are those? What are the signs? Because we can't actually see inwards, but we can't hide our behavior for too long. What are the signs a young boy or a young girl should look out for in the dating partner? Because probably I'm dating this person and I expect that within a short while it could lead to marriage, because we're also talking about the choice of a partner. So those innate things that come to the surface once in a while is what we should look out for. And what are those innate things that come to the surface and then you say, wow, so this guy is like this, or this girl is like this? What are those innate things that we should be sensitive to watch out for?
First is what you say, because you are who you say you are. So if somebody says good morning and he means good evening, or she means good evening, then it's not a person to be trusted. Okay. And I did say that trust is one of the fundamentals of marriage. So you need to be able to trust the person, and the person must be bound by his or her words. Secondly, you need to look at the person's temperament, because that is very, very key. While some people are gentle, other people are loud, other people have anger bursts, other people are calm, some people have a dispensation to be jovial. So you need to be able to understand all of that. And that again is why in chemistry we say opposites attract. And we're going to still talk more about why opposites should attract really, and why fire should mix with water or air to spread it, so all of that.
Okay. Now, talking about the melange of opposites, does it mean that in a relationship, to balance a relationship, if one person is calm, the other person can be loud, will that actually balance the relationship?
Definitely, because if two of you are introverts, it's going to be boring. So one person has to be introvert and the other person has to be an extrovert, so that there is a balance. Because if you're too quiet, then everything is just going to be flat. And if you're too noisy, then everything is going to be noisy. So a balance between the time to be quiet and the time to be loud. That's why it's a compatibility.
So what you're saying in essence now is we should look out for someone that complements us.
That's right.
Not someone that has the same characteristics that we have.
That's right.
All right. So take note. Look out for people that complement you. This is Bliss Talk on the Backstage Story Show on Nollywood Radio France. I need to get some water. I'll be right back after this. For authentic, verified news and information, for all-round entertainment, exclusive interviews and dramas, for a rich multilingual radio broadcast in English, French and Yoruba, local and global coverage of your events for diaspora audience.
www.nollywoodbroadcastingservice.com.
Cyprian Jolson takes you on a fun-filled adventure on the Cyprian Jolson Show.
www.nollywoodbroadcastingservice.com. Rebecca Moyer takes you on a trip of gist and gossip on the Nollywood Spotlight Show.
www.nollywoodbroadcastingservice.com. Nature's Elixir explores natural remedies to all ailments with Tonia Smart.
The Backstage Story Show with Demola Soyalu is packed with fun and excitement.
Also join Margaret Olufunke Aderinyoye on Yoruba Dunso, the Yoruba segment of Nollywood Broadcasting Service.
It doesn't end there. The building stays is in its eating. Mobile friendly. Takes us with you anywhere.
Yes, mobile friendly on Androids, tabs, PCs and other mobile devices. Simply connect from any corner of the globe on www.nollywoodbroadcastingservice.com. www.nollywoodradioFrance.com.
Entertaining you is our main objective, and we are committed to doing just that.
www.nollywoodbroadcastingservice.com. All round Nollywood, round the world. Make your marriage work. Make your marriage fun. Make your marriage exciting. Enjoy endless marital bliss. Let us help you rekindle the fire of love. Join me and Tonia Smart on Bliss Talk as we explore the secrets to endless marital bliss on Bliss Talk on the Backstage Story Show on your award-winning media channel, Nollywood Radio France, on Nollywood Broadcasting Service. Bliss Talk, reigniting the flame of love. This is still Bliss Talk on the Backstage Story Show on Nollywood Radio France, and you've been listening to Dr. Tonia Smart. She's a strong and a well-grounded marriage counselor, and she's also a chemist. So she's bringing her chemistry skills into relationship to make sure that we blend people together. So she's trying to mix the chemicals so that it doesn't result in explosion and all that. Now, let's talk about, we're still talking about dating and choice of a partner. How long should a dating last before it ends up becoming a decision for me to say this person is going to be my partner? Okay, I'm going to make up my mind, because dating is what leads to courtship, because dating and courtship are different things. Now, after dating, it gets to a stage I've decided this is the person I want to choose as my partner. How long should a dating process last? From your experience as a marriage counselor, what do you say official timing?
Dating can last from anything from 1 month, 6 months, and 1 year, and not more than 1 year. Oh. And why? Because it depends on proximity. For instance, you might be on a holiday and you meet somebody and you're just communicating. Okay. When you're communicating on media, phone, and all of that, it's different from when you're communicating, seeing each other, because first you're going to read the person's emotional signs, his eyes movements, the hand movements. Unlike if somebody's just talking to you on the phone, you don't know the expression, because the face carries a lot of expression as well. So if you're in constant meetings physically, seeing each other, regularly, it's going to give more time for you to get to know each other and evaluate one another than if you're just talking on phone or exchanging emails or such other social media. So, and then of course, when you meet, what do you really discuss? Those things are very important. It's not just, yes, you meet to have the social aspect of it, but you also need to meet to begin to understand, what am I expecting if I want to continue? So, but you don't start with that first. Like I said, you need to go out, laugh, and all of that. But you now begin to look at, what do I need? These are the things I'm looking at for. Is this person able to provide me with all of that? For instance, if you are the person who wants to pursue a career, but the man is saying, well, I need a wife who is going to cook for me, be there when I'm home, then there's already a wrong footing there. Because you want to sit in a multinational, you want to travel because your job will take you across the globe, and here is a man who is saying, I can't let you do all of that. I want you home with me. So you need to understand all of that, and then you need to also begin to look at, what are your monetary takings? Okay. Is it the hand gripping type, not ready to give, or is it the one who gives out to others and forgets responsibilities and things like that? Okay. And how does he manage his finances? Is he the one who, before the end of the month, is borrowing money from his friends, is not able to live within his means? Because if he's not able to live within his means while you're courting, then how is he going to be responsible when you're married?
Okay, this is still Bliss Talk on the Backstage Story Show on Nollywood Radio France, and you've been listening to Dr. Mrs. Tonia Smart, a marriage counselor, a chemist. You should have it at the back of your mind that she's applying her chemistry skills in marriage counseling, because she's making sure that your reactions with each other does not become explosive. The essence of Bliss Talk is to ensure that your marital bliss is continuous, doesn't end. It should glow from the way it started. All right, now we talk about proximity, and I've had cases of people that met themselves on social media platforms and it ended in marriage, and till now they are still blossoming. Proximity and the social media, would you really say that it is necessary if I'm dating someone? Because I've had cases of people that are dating each other from afar and they've ended up in marriage. With the trend of technology, would you still believe that dating should involve completely physical, or we can use the social media for dating?
You can use the social media for dating, but there's still an element of still having the physical, maybe during a vacation, or the person comes into town or arrives in your zone. So there's still some element of wanting to see, because like I said, you need to read the person now. What you're seeing on pictures, some people are very photogenic, so the picture might be a deceit, and with all the makeup artists nowadays, they can make you look as if you've just stepped out of the Nollywood studio. So it's good that there is that one-on-one interaction. Yes, you can start it off from the social media and it works for marriage. So there's definitely nothing wrong in that. But we're looking at the generality and the keys that you need to understand and see the person and understand that this person, because of course social media is not going to tell you whether he's a 6-footer or he's 4 feet and all of that, or whether she can cook good meals for you. So it's one thing to say, yes, I can cook. It's another thing to actually say, you can cook. And that, again, when we talk about, courtship and marriage proper, we're going to look at the role of food. Very key, very vital.
Very key. I love food. And I love good food.
That's right. I was going to say, when you said food, I was going to say, is it just food or good food?
Not just food, good food. All right, this is Bliss Talk, and we've been talking with Dr. Mrs. Tonia Smart, the marriage counselor, and I hope with this episode you've been enjoying us. Tonia, what other area in dating would you like to talk about? Do you have any?
Dating should not be something that is hard and fast, because people have the mind that, well, if I say I'm dating somebody, everybody expects that I'm going to get married to that person. No. You're dating somebody means you're just spending more time with that person, and it's not a guarantee that is the person you're going to get married to. So they need to be understanding that if the person doesn't meet your own
standard
skills or your own vision, then you can still be friends. And that is where the friendship and the dating all, is interchanged or intertwined, because you're going out with somebody who is nice to you, who is friendly to you, so you're getting to know the person more. And that's why you're spending more time with the person. If invariably you gel or you key to each other's aspirations and goals, then you move to the next platform, which is the courtship, because courtship now you want to know in details, things about the person, financial, spiritual, physical, temperament, and all of that, because now you're able to balance that relationship. Yes.
All right. Now, I've heard a pastor actually saying that if you want to date, he was actually ministering and telling the ladies that you need to test your man and make sure he can satisfy you. If eventually you decide this is the person I'm going to marry, you should test the person sexually and know this person. How do we deal with impotence? Now you're dating someone, you've not had sexual interaction with that person to know if this guy is impotent. That one we can't discover that spiritually or anyhow. How do you discover that, and how do you cope when eventually you date someone, it ends up in marriage, and you discover that the person is impotent?
First is a level of trust, and trust was one of the keys I said to successful marriage. I say no to sex before marriage. I say a big no.
Okay.
Because the only time marriage is acceptable biblically for me and as a person is within the confines of marriage. Okay. If you made a mistake in the past, wrong, getting into a relationship and all of that, that is a mistake. But you don't live under that guise to say, I want to test. Then how many people are you going to test? Then you might as well get a medical certification, because first, in the relationship, during courtship, you need to be open to one another, and that's what we're going to talk about extensively when we look at the courtship. Courtship is not just in the air now. Courtship is realities on ground. You must be able to subject yourself to medical evaluation. There's so much you can do with medicine out there now. So if the person doesn't tell you he's impotent, or if you have any reason to want to find out his potency, then there are medical ways that can be sorted out. But saying that, I'm going to test, I'm going to sleep with the person, I'm going to have sex, that I want to be sure the person knows how to sexually satisfy me, I say no. Because in marriage, there's a lot you need to learn. And when we talk about sex in detail, which I hope will be, treated in a long episode, we're going to look at the misconceptions that people go into. So marriage is not all about sex. Sex is only just a figment. And for me, I say sex, the word sex is actually staying in emotional ecstasy. So it's not intercourse.
Okay.
So people need to understand all of that. So it's not the trial and error thing with it, no. Because even without sex, you can still have a very good relationship. So it's not, the marriage is not sex, and sex is not the marriage. Yes.
The marriage is not sex, and sex is not the marriage. This is Bliss Talk on the Backstage Story show on Nollywood Radio France. And on this episode, we've been talking about the dating game and choice of a partner. And you've been listening to Dr. Mrs. Tonia Smart, the marriage counselor, and she's a chemist. She's also an insurance consultant. Doctor, on a final note, what is your take generally, looking at your experience and some of the people you have counseled in the past about dating? What's your take? What's your general opinion about dating?
First, for the young couples or would-be couples that I counsel, 90% of them have come back to tell me that they're happy that they had to do a counseling class. And what I always say when I'm doing the counseling classes is that the knowledge is not just for you, would-be partners or would-be husband and wife, but even for your friends out there, because there's no knowledge that is lost. So what you have gained can assist you to provide good knowledge, correct knowledge to others. So my take is you train one person who also takes that knowledge to others. So coming back to dating, it is the foundation. If you take it wrongly and you rush into the courtship, and before you know it, you meet the person today, tomorrow it's already like we're talking marriage and all of that, without really going into the basics, into the fundamentals, then it's not going to last. It's not going to last. It's just going to be all glamour.
All right, this is Bliss Talk, and I've been speaking with Dr. Mrs. Tonia Smart on dating and the choice of a partner. I hope you have enjoyed this episode so glamorously. Dr. Tonia, it's nice to have you here.
Thank you very much.
And if you want to speak with Tonia, or you want to call and ask further questions, let's give your listeners the...
Well, you can reach me on Nigerian line 234 if you're calling from the international community, 816-654-6231, and you can send an email to me at tonia.smart@yorkcityltd.com. tonia.smart@yorkcityltd.com.
All right, you can also reach me, just in case, you can reach me and I can forward your mails to Tonia, BackstageStory.mag@gmail.com or demola.sonyaolu@gmail.com. And you can also call me on 234 234-809-872-6926. 234-809-872-6926. Or reach me on demola.sonyalu@gmail.com. This is Bliss Talk on the Backstage Story Show on Nollywood Radio France. And we are glad to have you listening in on this exciting episode. Until I meet you again on the next episode of Bliss Talk. Tonia, you want to say
well,
final word?
Have a blissful week and enjoy yourself.
All right, have a blissful week and enjoy yourself. And from me, I say, keep well, do well, and stay atop your game as usual. Bye for now.